Hello and welcome to another episode of From A to Zinc, the podcast bringing clarity to the supplement industry. I'm really excited about today's episode because we are going to be talking about detox. And here with me today, I have Dr. Gaitanos, who is the Chief Operating and Scientific Officer at Chenot Group. Now, Chenot Group is and has always been a leader and pioneer when it comes to detox, but even more, they have been awarded with the world's best detox program. So I could not think of anybody better to talk about this topic today than you. Thank you for being here and joining me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
When you talk about detox, what exactly does it mean and why is it important?
Right. So for us as a company, it's all about a metabolic reset to clean up at cellular level and reduce the biological noise and restore the body's ability to heal and adapt. It's all about renewal. It's not about flushing things out, which all of us will understand. It's about clearing space at cellular level. And when you do this and you clear the space, your body's own healing and regenerative systems take over. And this is very, very important. Every day your DNA cleans up. So I don't see detox as a purge. I think I see it as a process, as a conversation with your biology. You know, as a company, we are operating for many years in the medical wellness sector within luxury hospitality, and we are focusing very much in the aging process. We all know that aging is driven by a combination of genetics, environment, lifestyle factors, which eventually all leading into decline in our functionality as the time goes by. I don't know if you're familiar, you heard about the hallmarks of aging. So there's a lot of medical science tells us now there are about 12 hallmarks of aging. But us as a company, we are primarily focusing on the dysfunction of mitochondria, the batteries of our cells. We are focusing on chronic low-grade inflammation, what we call inflammaging, on cellular senescence. When cells stop dividing, they don't die, but they accumulate and they release damaging signals. And of course, the mechanism, the body's internal recycling process, which clean up the body, known as autophagy, also this decline. So over time, this leads to tissue damage, fatigue, reduced regeneration, and obviously increases the risk for disease as we get older. So our method is designed to proactively, if you like, to slow this kind of processes, slow biological aging, reduce cellular clutter, and optimize the body's regenerative capacity. And I think this is what we define as detox. And this is what we've been doing for the last 50 years.
And for anybody who doesn't exactly know how this looks, the world's best detox program, can you describe what exactly this looks like? How do you detox correctly?
So primarily what you do is you're coming here and you're taking a program which lasts minimum 7 days. Ideally, the program was designed for 12 days, and then eventually we reduce it to 9 because we saw that we can achieve the result that we want. Nowadays, everybody's in a rush. So we thought that 1 week can be defined, can achieve good results. So the program consists first of personalization. So you have initially a medical consultation. You need to understand the individual. You need to understand how they live their life. And of course, we have a lot of tests around this. So after you understand the individual, we can personalize the treatments. And the treatments consist primarily of a diet, which we deliver 850 calories. In the food, there is very little protein. It's what we call a fast mimicking diet, which is very well researched. I think Professor Walter Logo has done a lot of work on this. Also, we have done a lot of work with the Medical School of Nottingham. So you're getting this diet. The intention is to downregulate a metabolic pathway which is called the mTOR, mammalian target of rapamycin, which senses protein and gives the command growth into the body. The second important characteristic of the diet is that it's low calorie. As I said, it's 850 calories, and we try by reducing the energy intake to activate another metabolic pathway, which is called the adenosine monophosphate kinase pathway. And by doing that, you are improving the fitness of your mitochondria. You are improving all the anti-inflammatory responses in the body. So diet is a core pillar of our method. And we know that this process needs approximately 6 to 7 days to work. That's why the program now has a minimum stay of 7 days. In addition to this, we are using a second set of treatments, which we've defined them all together as hydrotherapy. So we are exposing the body to high heat. This is done in a bath, also application of mud. The idea here, of course, is to improve the blood circulation. Nitric oxide is released. You have a lot of lymphatic drainage, but primarily we want to increase the temperatures in the body. In a way, if you like, we are inducing fever. And by doing that, you activate some molecules in your body known as heat shock proteins, which part of their job is to help the cleaning mechanism of the body, and they transfer waste to the waste bin or to the recycling bin. So you are having a diet very low in calories and heat. Similar thing happens, when we have an infection. What the body is doing, is activating its own internal medicine. So increases temperatures. It makes you not feeling hungry. Sickness-induced anorexia. So we're doing exactly the same thing. But this is very stressful for the body. So Mr. Chenot introduce Eastern healing techniques, traditional Chinese medicine, of course, to balance the energy, to make sure that there is no stagnation, so there's perfect flow of energy according to the principles of traditional Chinese medicine. But primarily, we want to activate the vagus nerve to increase your parasympathetic defense. And in that way, you reduce your sympathetic activity, you increase your parasympathetic defense, and this is the time when your body is recovering. And we extend this technique into our massages because our therapists, they use special techniques with cupping, not only to work on muscle fascia tendons, but also work on these energetic channels, meridians as we know them. So daily, all you do is you are stressing the body, you are recovering the body, and by that you improve the fitness of your autonomic nervous system. So this is what is all set up. And then to this process, you can add the synergistic treatments, whether this will be IVs or you use technology, the red light, the saunas, breathing different concentrations of oxygen, go into an altitude room, you experience the benefits of altitude, you run on anti-gravity treadmills, or you just do the exercise, or you take a swim in the lake, which is pretty cold, or you use the cryo chamber. And so the way we create this into a protocol, so the whole thing is a system rather than just giving treatments, and you personalize from the beginning the plan, and then you deliver it to the individual. From what I said, we are focusing very much on mitochondria, on chronic low-grade inflammation, senescence. We want to remove senescent cells. And of course, a lot has to do with autophagy, the body internal recycling process. So this is what we are doing during this week. A lot of people are coming here, usually alone, and they take time for themselves. And I think it's nice because they realize when they go into this kind of pattern, they benefit, they regenerate in 1 week. Okay, they've been through all these stressors because a big stress. You're not eating, you're challenged. You learn a lot about yourself. It's an emotional experience. You're going through these heat treatments, all these things. But then the body is defending and it starts activating all the repairing mechanisms. The body says, why are you doing this to me? I need to defend. So the principle we use is hormesis. We give to the body control stress. By doing that, if you know how to modulate the stress by frequency, intensity, duration, then you're giving the right signals to the body, then your body comes up with repair.
This sounds like a pretty complicated and big protocol. Do you think that's how it should be seen? Kind of like a spring clean once a year or once every half a year? You really take this full week to do a whole program? Or do you also think that this is something people should be doing daily?
When people are coming here, you think of Chenot as your pit stop from your everyday lifestyle. I always use this example. It's similar like you take your car to the garage. I want you to visualize every single cell of your body as a little battery, which at the beginning is full of energy and is very clean. And then with time, all it does is the energy you have inside is going down and the battery becomes rusty. So when you come here for 1 week, you want to do this intense cleanup of your battery and then put some energy back into the system to recover. You are not relaxing. Relaxing means I'm not using any more energy. Recovering means I add energy into the system. This way, if you visualize it as a battery, the program is all about a metabolic reset. When we talk about longevity, it's all about consistent signaling to your body to do the right things. And I think this is the key here. But you still need to come for the deep work. This is a very deep and intense program to clean the battery, put some energy in. But in your everyday life, you can support the system, you can support your biology by creating a protocol where it has phases.
A lot of people think that I will do every day this detox, but hearing that you actually need a few days to go through the cycle, I think that's something that people need to consider. Now, I would like to ask, how do supplements fit into all of this? Because there are a lot of supplements or a lot of products which are marketed for detox purposes. It can be ranging from getting rid of heavy metals, weight loss, digestion tracts, charcoal, detox teas. There are so many detox supplements. Do you think there are some supplements or products that do support this detox process in the body?
So certainly supplements can play a supportive role, but it's not substituting the main processes. Okay, so the whole idea is we can use them not as shortcuts, but as targeted tools that enhance and facilitate the body to already existing biological pathways. So yes, the supplements we work with is more, I would say, what we call from a longevity perspective, the nutraceuticals, what I will call as geroprotectors. So they target key mechanisms of aging, mainly inflammation, mitochondrial decline, cellular senescence, and autophagy that we discussed before.
And what exactly are those?
So some of these, which I think they're very interesting in the literature, you've heard about resveratrol. There is a more potent form of resveratrol, which is called polydatin. So this is Polygonum capsidatum roots. So it's plants based in Asia. It's a resveratrol precursor and it's 50 times more effective because it has very high water solubility and cellular uptake. Also, urolithin A is a very interesting from ellagic acids, pomegranates, berries, nuts. This is all about mitochondrial renewal, activates sirtuins, enhancing mitophagy. And it also has some kind of senolytic action, helps clear senescent cells, promoting cellular rejuvenation. It's a very, very promising urolithin A. Spermidine, we all hear recently about spermidine, comes from primarily from wheat germ, cruciferous vegetables, activates autophagy, the recycling process, and promotes the benefits of fasting. And I think that's good. From essential saturated fatty acids, I think there is one which is called pentatescanoic acid, C15, which is found in animal fats with broad activities, protecting cardiometabolic protection, immune and liver health, and activates the AMPK adenosine monophosphate kinase, inhibits mTOR. So it provides cellular protection, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, neuroprotection, supports brain health. These are interesting supplements. Vitamin D, I call it a hormone, a huge molecule. Omega-3 supplementation.
So, are those supplements that you include in your program?
Yes, these are supplements which I work with. Also some others, CoQ10. I mean, we have quite a few more other supplements, alpha lipoic acid, precursors of NAD, NMN, NR, magnesium. I mean, it's everywhere, magnesium, so why from mitochondrial ADP production, enzymatic activities. I find also interesting for inflammation, curcumin, downregulates certain cytokines, quercetin, fisetin, natural flavonoids, which helps senolytic action, removing these senescent cells, the zombie what so much. Sulforaphane, also interesting, boosts detox enzymes, glutathione, I think that's interesting. And we also work with some collagen peptides with vitamin C to support some repair collagen synthesis, especially in aging tissues. I think all this, by combining them, we recommend and we give to people according to their needs. We explain to them nothing is a quick fix. Everything takes time, and they need to incorporate them into the daily circadian rhythmicity, if you like. You see people sometimes starting very aggressively, ignoring their gut health, the microbiome support, because that's another big thing. They look for fast fixes instead of supporting, as I said, respect body biology, the rhythms. And we try to find high quality supplements, because I see also a lot of people go for marketing without looking at the quality of the supplements.
On that note, what do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that people do when they want to detox and they use supplements to do so?
I think they become too aggressive and they don't understand what they're taking. And they're ignoring the biology, trying, as I said, trying to do this kind of fast fix. I think that's a very big. Whereas, there are supplements where you need to support your autophagy, your cellular recycling. You can improve and protect and recharge your mitochondria. You can reduce your chronic inflammation, and all this needs to be done in cycles, respecting your biology, rather than just taking thousands of supplements. Because every time you are detoxing, then you need to have a phase of regeneration to give the body time to build up again. And everything you do needs to support your circadian rhythms and deep repair. So you have to combine this with fasting windows, with the exercise, with getting morning light exposure, with your sleep. Everything has to be a protocol rather than just take pills.
That's great. So, thank you for that insight. I have some quick questions. There are fire rounds. You can say what you think. This is no medical advice. This is just your perspective. What do you think is one detox supplement that is overhyped?
I think NAD.
And what do you think is one supplement or ingredient that you actually wish people would know about more or would use more?
I would like them to know more about spermidine, actually, because it promotes autophagy, cellular renewal. It's very relevant for healthy aging and longevity. It's found naturally in food, but also you can get in high doses from a supplement. And I think that would be interesting.
You keep talking about this autophagy. I actually have a question. When I was looking at diets, the keyword was always ketosis. And everyone said that actually you want to get into ketosis. Is that the same thing? Or what is the difference between those states?
You are going into ketosis because you take a very low calorie diet, and also you don't take enough sugars. So the body, to survive, and the brain to get food, is producing ketones. So this takes a few days to come in. Suddenly then this mechanism of cleaning up is coming into the play, and eventually your cells are renewing. All this process is taking approximately 1 week. That's why our program has a minimum stay of 1 week. You need to go through all these kind of processes, become ketonic using fat as main fuel, activating autophagy, and eventually rejuvenating and renewing your cells. And there are several good studies done by the group by Professor Walter Longo. Also, we sponsored last year a master student from the Medical School of Nottingham, and we saw that this diet of 850 calories with low proteins, it does activate the mechanism of autophagy. It does activate anti-aging genes. It promotes longevity. And I think to do it safely for 1 week, you will get really, really good results. And I recommend to people that they can use this kind of diet every 3 months for a few days, 5 days to 1 week. And I think that's a very good protocol for them to do in the year.
So it's like a reset.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting because 850, that is a lot less than the average person takes, right? Of course, it's difficult to say average, but between 2,000, 3,000 calories, you could say is normal. So do you really think that it has to not just be healthy food, but it has to be less calories?
You need to hit a certain amount of calories. So we give this diet to everybody, irrespective of body type, gender, age. You need to hit a certain amount of calorie restriction without proteins inside to achieve the result. I know that the NHS is using this kind of calorie intake to remiss diabetes. So something is happening around 800 to 850 calories.
And why no proteins?
The protein, because as I said earlier, you want to switch off one metabolic pathway, which is called the mammalian target of rapamycin, which gives the command growth. So by switching it off or reducing its activity, you become more effective into cleaning up. So you don't want to give to the body the command growth.
Mm-hmm.
The diet we do here, the fast mimicking diet, is not a healthy diet, okay? But it's a very specific diet to do the job. If you do a calorie restriction, like complete fasting, it's very beneficial. We know that from religion, from history. They used fasting to treat people. It was kind of the public sector kind of approach to do things, and religion has taught us a lot of things. But the problem is this: if you do complete fasting, your brain, when you go to bed, is looking for food, is awake. And we know that from animals. So by creating a fast mimicking diet, in a way you are fooling the brain, you're giving the nutrients, some nutrients, you're giving energy to the body. So the body doesn't have to be awake, and you go to bed and you start prioritizing your sleep, which is a very big process. This is a time when all regeneration is happening in your body. You boost your immune system. You do a lot of functions there. You protect your brain from neurodegenerative diseases. You consolidate your memory, things you learn during the day. So many things are happening during the night. So you need to go overnight all these cycles, which I believe if you go fasted completely, you don't eat anything, you mess up all this sleep architecture. We have decided to go on this diet where you provide food to the brain. The body is recycling its waste. So you're still not missing much because all these cells, they break down, they make new proteins. That's the whole thing. And you're allowing the body to process this. That's why we give little protein.
Okay, one last question for the quick round. What do you think about detox teas? Yes or no?
So we have some teas to support the liver to do its job, because detox is not only the longevity direction I gave you, it's a lot of things, and the liver is doing a major job to remove waste from the body. It needs to mobilize. So whether your body starts converting toxins, metabolic waste, and damaged molecules into forms that can be processed, and I think that's important. So liver enzymes, damaged cellular components needs to begin to surface. A lot of things are happening here. You need to support liver, mitochondria, lysosome, proteasome, all these kind of things. Then you have the second phase where you need to transform. So you're making the waste into a form which is water soluble so the body can excrete it. And again, there you need to support organs. And at the end, you are eliminating, you're taking out the trash. And of course, certain teas, they can have ingredients that can actually help offer this support.
Super. I asked everyone the same question at the end of the episode. When it comes to, in this case, supplements for detox or regeneration, what is your key takeaway that you want people to remember, whether it's about choosing them, using them, or avoiding mistakes?
I think when people are taking, they need to understand supplements for detox and regeneration work. People need to understand that they need to support the body's existing systems. What we're trying to do with supplements is to enhance your body already what does naturally. And I think that's a very, very important thing. So don't chase shortcuts. Support your body's existing systems.
Super. Honestly, it was so interesting. I admire your work. You guys are obviously top of the top. So thank you so much for taking the time.
It's been very, very nice talking to you.